Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Day with Down to Earth Astronomy. It's Monday. So let's take a look at what's been going on in Elite. And there's been a lot of things going on last week. One of the first things I want to comment about is the anti-botting agreement. I think a lot of you may already have heard about this. The idea with this was to get player communities around Elite basically like to come together and like sign in an agreement that you pledge not to be promoting or using any kind of bot or automated scripts when playing Elite Dangerous. This can be a huge issue, and of course, both me personally and the player faction that I have, Terra X Astrocorp, have both been in and signed this and said, no, of course, we're not promoting any kind of bots or automated scripts. And just wanted to like make it completely clear what this is and what this isn't, just so there's no confusion here. This is not to try and strike down on people using macros. Like, let me explain the difference. Like, it's not if you like have, let's say, a macro that says if you press that key, it automatically adjusts your pips, like to go all pips to weapons or go maybe 2 pips to weapons and 4 pips to shield or whatever, something like that. That's not what we're talking about here. The thing we're talking about are making like fully automated scripts that like plays the game for you, where the player is not around, it's not present while the game is running. Now, this is neither like a list of demands that we are sending to Frontier. This is just to start with, at least to send a signal to show that there is a large number of people who has an opinion about it and feels against it. And we hope, at least, that Frontier will listen and will look into it. Because I think we can all agree that having automated bots running around in Elite is not good for the game, it's not good for anybody. But anyway, if you want to read more about it, I'm going to link to a forum thread, which you can find in the description below. Now, if you were ever in doubt whether there were shady people in Elite, then listen to this. So recently, there's been a lot of talk about newer players in Elite simply being taken outright hostage. What has been happening is, and I've been trying to piece this together, but it seems what's been happening is new players have been approached by what seem to be good Samaritans. They come up to the new players to say, hey, welcome to the game, awesome you're playing. If you come over, like, dock at my fleet carrier, I'll give you a bit of credits, and here's like a good ship build you can do. Go over to the station, build this ship, which turns out to be a mining ship with extremely poor jump range, and then just come back to the fleet carrier here, and then I'll show you a bit around, stuff like that. New players who fall for this, they go into the fleet carrier, they move some stuff around, so the new player gets some cash. That cash is then used to buy, outfit this ship. And when the new player docks in this new ship on the fleet carrier is then jumped out in the middle of nowhere, where the new player has absolutely no way of finding their way back in the ship they're in. And out there, they are being told to go out and mine, and then they are selling those materials they're mining at extremely low prices back to the fleet carriers because it's the only place they can dock. So players have been coming together to try and kind of save these players, sending fleet carriers out, offering way better prices than with these slave traders, basically. What they've been offering to try and kind of compete with them. And they've been offering trips back to the bubble so people who come back. Of course, the only other option is then to self-destruct the ship and go back, get a sidewinder, and basically start from scratch again. Now, while of course this can be absolutely detrimental to a new player and could very likely spell the end of their Elite career before it has even begun, I am glad to see the community coming together, sending fleet carriers out to the area to try and save these people and get them back home safely to the bubble. Now, if you've been paying attention to the latest community goal, there's something very interesting going on here. One of the rewards for the community goal is that one of the double-engineered missile launches, which was previously something that would only be handed out to the top 75% of players for that community goal, will now be made available as an unlockable item at the Human Tech Broker. That means that even if you didn't take part of the community goal, if it is successful, you're going to be able to go over to a Human Tech Broker, pay them some material to unlock it, just to do with your Guardian FSD boosters and all that other stuff, and then simply just buy pre-engineered, even pre-double engineered modules at stations. First of all, I think it's great to see Frontier making these modules available even after the community goal has ended. It is a bit of a weird feeling, I think, if you have these modules that are like the frameshift drive is an obvious choice, like that is better than what you can get engineered yourself. but you wouldn't be able to get it if you come in as a new player. Suddenly you're looking at people flying around with these double engineered modules, that you're never going to be able to get your hands on them. Or maybe you were, what do I know, off that week when that community goal was running and you weren't able to get it. Now, I did talk to Bruce from the Frontier community team about this, how they're going to make this available. And it seems like it is the plan that they're going to be adding more and more of these modules to be unlockable later on down the road. But I talked to him about how they're going to make it. I mean, it's just going to be all of them being available. And I should say this is Bruce's personal opinion and not necessarily a direction that Frontier wants to go in. But it was just me and him having a quick chat about it on Discord. What he said is he was hoping for like a rotating, like kind of a cycle thing where these modules weren't necessarily being available at all times, but regardless of whether they're going to be constantly available or going to be cycling, price tag for these is going to be interesting to see how much they're going to charge for a double engineered module, because I don't know if they should, but I think they will try to aim it so there's still a reason to go out and actually engineer the modules yourself and really only take the double engineered modules if you really, really need it. I mean, a Class 5 frameshift drive is still the go-to case for me, at least here, because it's useful on so many ships. A lot of the medium ships uses a Class 5 frameshift drive. So if these suddenly becomes available to just straight up buy, you would never really go out and engineer one again, because it would be much better to just wait for those modules to be available and then buy 5 of them, have them in stock. So you have that available. That being said, with more and more of these special modules being made available, and they also sometimes could be made available during limited times, I would hope that we're going to see an increase in the number of modules we can store in a station. The limit is currently 120. I really hope we could see this number being like doubled, quadrupled, 10 times it even, or just remove the limit outright. But I think the big takeaway here is I think it's great to see these special modules being made available for newer players and for future players, as well as an unlockable module at the Human Tech Broker. Frontier has once again been answering more questions about Odyssey. And as always, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there is one question that really, I would say worries me, but it made me stop and think for a second. And that is to the question, what will happen to players when they die in Odyssey? Where will they respawn? And the Frontier was that they're still working on it. They are not really sure about it, as it seems. At least not willing to share this at this point. And I was like, isn't the alpha test just around the corner? This seems like a design option you would have made a long time ago. Don't get me wrong here, I have absolutely no idea, no experience with game development, but I feel like that's a thing, a decision you would have made at this point in time. And that kind of worried me a little bit, because if they're still, I would see pretty big design decisions like that haven't been made yet. I was expecting Odyssey to be in a state where all the major design decisions were made, and it was just a matter of getting them implemented and getting them ready to launch. Of course, also been the information out regarding how is the transition going to be from sitting in your seat to the surface. I mean, we have the transition to SRVs that is basically fade to black, and you of course spawn in the SRV as it being lowered down to. And it seems that this is going to be, well, on foot, be pretty much the same transition as we have with the SRV. Exactly where you're going to spawn, if you're going to be spawning as you're crawling down a ladder, how that's going to work, I don't know. It's a bit of a disappointment to me, I must admit. I think it could be very easily done in a much, much cleaner way. I mean, we have the cockpits already. Cockpits are already there, they are fully modeled, and all of them has a door at the back. In my mind, I think a much, much cleaner way to do this, rather than have this fade to black transition, would be to allow the players to get out of the seat, walk around the cockpit to the door in the back if they wanted to. That would take them into an elevator, which is like a box, square box. Because you go into the box and you click surface. And you might even be able to click surface on foot or like surface on SRV if you wanted to. The door's going to close, rumble, rumble, rumble. And then either you can just get into an SRV hangar where you can go into your SRV, or you're being lowered down. Maybe you come, the elevator doors open and you're either at like a piece of set of stairs like you would have on like the cutter, you have the stairs at the front, or maybe you're spawning at the back of the ship, or maybe the whole elevator is just going to lower itself down to the surface and open up, or maybe just the bottom is slowing down like a not like a ramp, but like just a floor with like, or what do I know, like wires that just lowers you down and put you just above the surface so you can take that step off. And then basically use that elevator as the loading scene, just as we have the transition with when we're doing hyperspace jumps between systems. We have that transition there as a loading scene. Similarly, just close the doors. You have very small room, very little like environment to have in memory while you're loading the planet surface, or the other way around, of course, as you're loading the ship interior when you're going back in. I think it would be a much cleaner transition to go that way than the fade to black that we have both BSRB today, and it seems like what we're also gonna get with the on-foot experience in Odyssey. Now, there's also some news regarding the channel. I've been running some experiments here last week. Both I posted a shorter format, like a live stream highlight, basically posted as an extra video, bonus video here last week, where I just took a few clips from my previous live stream. I like quickly edited them together to like make a highlight and then posted that as a separate video. And together with that, I also tried out YouTube's new Shorts format. This is a separate dedicated format that's more designed towards mobile users, so it has to be in like a vertical video rather than the horizontal that you might be used to. And they can't be more than 60 seconds long, so they're like really short videos. And I tried to use that to see how that would work as maybe like a promotional thing. You want to say, hey, look at this, new video is out. Here's a quick clip from the video so you know what you can expect to see in that video. Kind of like a teaser. And with those two, I posted, of course, polls on my community page to kind of get you guys feedback. And it pretty much resonates with my own feelings about it, and it is that the shorts, like the vertical, like the 1 minute vertical videos, it didn't really work, it didn't really feel right, and it's probably not something I'm going to be using in the future. First of all, the vertical format is really awkward. It just doesn't work very well with Elite, does it? I mean, you really have to customize the content for that format. If I want to make like short videos like that, I would much rather use the story feature that's already on YouTube that you might have seen, especially again on phones, where you can the channel icon, then you get like basically stories like you would have on any other media, like very short clips that just recorded, that's only available for like a short period of time. So if I wanted to do short like format videos, I would probably use the story feature because it's much better integrated both for people watching on phones but also people watching on a computer. So first of all, I want to say thank you for all you guys who gave feedback on these little experiments. You can probably expect to see more live stream highlights being normal like widescreen format videos that you're used to, with small like compressed clips from my live streams. The feedback for those were overwhelmingly positive, so I'm gonna be making more of those. Already have 2 of them up pre-uploaded. That's gonna come out here in the next couple of weeks. But the shorts, the vertical videos, you're probably not gonna see me use a whole lot of in the future. And finally, there's some quick changes for the live stream tomorrow, and this is just for the live stream tomorrow. I'm going to be live streaming a little early tomorrow. I'm going to be starting half an hour earlier than compared to what I normally do. And that's because I will be a guest on Live Radio, and they do their recordings half an hour before what I normally do doing my live streams. I will be live streaming while I am on the air with Live Radio, and that means I'll be starting half an hour early. So that means it'll be 7:30 that I'll be live streaming in-game time, and it'll be here on YouTube and on Twitch. Mostly it's going to be one of those live streams where I'm not going to be able to interact that much with you guys, since I will of course be communicating with the guys over on Live Radio. So hope you'll come by, either watch the live stream on YouTube or Twitch, or listen in to the late radio broadcast instead. But that's gonna be it for this week. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.